Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Directed IRA podcast. Your portal, your conduit, your, what do you say? Your
resource.
It's got to be something better than that. I don't know.
Resource is kind of boring. That's
the place to get all of your
the launch
IRA.
Pad.
What? The what?
The launch pad.
Launch pad
for your self-directed IRA investing.
I don't like it. So everybody, welcome. This is Mark Kohler and yours amazing author, Matt Sorensen, here with us, and the author of the book, the Self-Directed IRA Handbook. You can get that at www.matt with one T Sorensen, all E's. So that's Matt, MattSorensen. I'm always like, how do you say that fast? Anyway, boy, I really introduced my co-host wonderfully today. That's MattSorensen.com. Get over there. Okay, well, Matt, wow, on that note, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to talk about some crazy stuff. You've got a list. Tell us what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, I think, something that's kind of on the new frontier in investing. We've been doing it for a while, but it's becoming more and more popular, and that is how your retirement account can make crypto investments. And we're not just talking about buying crypto on an exchange. You can do that. We've got a product where you can have an IRA with us called a crypto IRA, and you can just go buy Bitcoin, Ethereum. We link you to the Gemini exchange. You got your IRA account that owns it. It's clean. It's easy. We've got an easy solution for it. But a lot of crypto clients are like, Matt, I want to buy some weird altcoin that no one's heard of. I want to do DeFi. I want to do staking. I want to use a wallet, a hardware wallet, and go off an exchange. I don't want my private keys there. All right. Well, there's a structure for that. It's kind of the old-fashioned structure to doing crypto that we pioneered really back in 2017. We're going to talk about how you do that, walk through the rules, what we know and what we don't know, because there's some legal certainties on what we think is good. Then there's some recommendations of if you want to do some, new frontier type stuff on ways to do it, but there's not a lot of certainty. So I want to talk about that for those of you that want to get out there and do some of these more aggressive strategies in the crypto space.
Woo. And you're hoping to do that in one podcast. I think we could dedicate a podcast to almost every one of those strategies, and maybe we will do so in the future. We're going to give you an overview. Matt Sorensen has some killer slides that were actually used at our crypto summit. And for any of you that want to look at that, the Crypto Tax Summit will be in Miami on May 19th and 20th. You can get to cryptotaxsummit.com. There will be several breakout sessions just on using IRAs and 401ks to do crypto strategies. We're not going to touch mining today, but that will be out there as well. So this is going to be good. I got my Chinese food here. I'm just going to I'm color commentary.
Yeah.
I know this stuff too.
Yeah.
Matt's the real expert. And I want to just point out, I got my fortune cookie today. So I'm going to read this out for everybody.
Yeah. Let everyone know your fortune.
Okay. My fortune was, you will have many friends when you need them in bed. That's what it says.
In bed.
Yeah. Can you believe Matt Sorensen didn't know? Everybody knows when you read a fortune cookie, you always add in bed. That's the go-to. Corey knows that. I know that. Everybody, people walking by on the street know that, but Matt didn't.
I'm new to this, guys. Okay. I'm new to this.
Need more Chinese food. That's what you need.
I do. I do love some Kung Pao chicken. Not going to lie. That's, I've never turned down some Kung Pao chicken.
Strong dish name.
Yeah, Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
Yeah,
chicken. I mean, you're like,
how could I not order that?
Yeah,
it's like Baba Ganoush. Like, if it's on the menu, I'm going to order it just so I can say it to a waiter.
Yeah,
I'm going to have the Baba Ganoush.
Like miso soup. Can I have some miso soup? Not strong. How about Kung Pao chicken?
That's a little boring. Yeah.
So, I'm Oliver Twist. Can I have a little miso soup, please? Okay. Anyway, all right. Okay. So Matt, which one do you want to start with first?
All right. Okay, well, let's talk about how you get there in the first place, okay? Because let's start at square one, because you might be like, okay, Matt, I've got an IRA. I want to do some staking of crypto with an IRA, or I want to go buy an altcoin. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I want to buy some type of altcoin.
Okay, well, choose one. Which one? Which one do you do first?
Let's say you want to be XRP. You want to buy XRP.
No, I say, okay, we're not going to talk about staking. We're just going to buy a wallet off a Gemini exchange, a DeFi type coin, a unique coin. So you're going to choose, what's your example, XRP?
Yeah, well, you get there in the same place. You need the same vehicle to be able to do either one.
Okay, I just wanted an example. Okay, so we're going to start with square one. You
want to buy an altcoin. Okay, you want to buy XRP, let's say. All right.
Okay, altcoin. All right.
Okay. which you can't get on Gemini or a lot of places.
All right.
Okay, so let's say you've got an IRA at Fidelity. You call up Fidelity and you say, I want to buy XRP in my IRA. They're like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they laugh at
Are
you.
you crazy? Yeah. So what you're going to need to do is, it's not because you can't own XRP in an IRA, it's you can't do it at Fidelity. So you'll need to move your account to a company that lets you self-direct, like our company directed IRA, and you would do a self-directed IRA with us. Now, once you're there, what you're going to need though is an LLC, because you're going to need a wallet you're going to need to get some money into. So let's share the diagram here and we'll start walking through this.
All right.
All right. So if you look at the diagram here, you can see we show your old IRA or 401k, let's say it's at Fidelity, gets rolled over to a self-directed IRA at directed IRA. Then the next step is we're going to set up an LLC, which we do at our law firm, KKOS Lawyers. We set up tens of thousands of these over the years. And that LLC is going to have a bank account. Your IRA is going to invest its cash into the LLC. The LLC has its own bank checking account. All right. We've got episodes on this and prior things, lots of content on it.
And which I may add, that IRA LLC, you're going to be the manager of it, which is okay. Don't listen to anyone else that says you can't. And the IRA LLC will have its own tax ID number. And you could have multiple partners in that IRA LLC. You might have your brother's IRA, your Roth, your mom's 401k, who knows? So that IRA LLC, like Matt said, is a show in and of itself. But let's just assume you got this cool little IRA LLC with its own EIN and it opens a bank account. That's at the top of your diagram.
Yep. Okay. Now it's got a business checking account. This is just a regular LLC business checking account. Well, we need that because we need fiat cash, right? Yeah. We need to get some cash. Then the next step is, all right, I want to get some crypto. Now, a lot of ways into an altcoin is you could get to an exchange that might have it.
Which means institutional account.
Right. Which means institutional or business account. Okay, you're not setting up a personal account. This account that you set up, let's say you did Coinbase, for example. You can do Kraken. We have lots of clients that have used Kraken recently. That's going to be a business or institutional account. It's owned by the LLC. It's not you that owns it. They're going to want some information for you because you're the underlying responsible person for this. So they're going to do some KYC and stuff on you because you're the underlying owner of this LLC, which is owned by your IRA, and you're the manager.
And it's not it's not a comfortable process. When he says KY...
Know your customer.
Oh, okay. All right. Know your customer. I'm sorry. When you were saying this is not going to be comfortable, they're going to use KYC. I was like, where are you going with this? This is a kid's show here. Okay. But anyway, it will feel like that. Some call it a coloroscopy, but, you know, which is your tax strategy for the year at the firm here. But no, you're going to set up an institutional account. Don't go to the personal account. Find their page. And you can easily Google this. The Kraken, all these platforms have an institutional portal. And they're going to ask you questions about this IRA LLC. And so you're going to keep that mindset. But that's kind of, again, the crappy way. We might want to go with MetaMask or a more kind of alt-even wallet, correct?
Yeah, but to get to MetaMask, you're going to need Ethereum. Like, you can't just go directly to MetaMask.
True,
so
true.
You're going to have crypto. So right here, you're going to need cash. You're going to have fiat. So you need to get an exchange where you can exchange fiat for crypto. Okay. So you're going to need the first step. You're going to need like a Coinbase, a Kraken, a Gemini, whatever, some institutional account. And a lot of people will just get Ethereum to start because that's an on-ramp to somewhere like a MetaMask wallet. Yeah. But let's say you get Kraken. They might have XRP actually right on there. And now the LLC owns this institutional account, let's say at Kraken, and you buy XRP, and now your IRLC owns XRP. Now. Oh,
may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say Kraken does not have that coin. So you go, I got to go to a more alternative wallet. So it's kind of like instead of you started with your bank account at Wells Fargo, then you went to a custodial account, which many of you hate. I get it, but you got to follow these steps. Then you're like, I'm going to jump to Phantom or MetaMask or some sort of more alt wallet where I have more options. Here's an important point. Do not use the same freaking ledger or wallet under your own name or your own email. You've got to open a new ledger, if you will. And Matt, that's where we like using a separate email so that you can show the difference, right?
Yes, absolutely. So now that's if you're doing something like MetaMask here, or some of these wallets that are, like an extension, a browser extension type wallet. They're only going to be set up based on an email, right? You're not A lot of this is not even putting in your ID. There's no KYC, and so, but a lot of people like these because they're off in exchange, right? Other ones that you could do, let's just talk about like a hardware wallet, like a nano ledger, so if you're like, okay, I did the institutional Kraken account and now I want to get it off of there and I want to take it to a nano ledger. Okay. That you're going to move that crypto onto a nano ledger, but the IRA LLC better buy that hardware wallet, that actual nano ledger, right? And it better not have your personal crypto on it.
Yeah. Don't commingle. Common business strategy. And I would say, throw this out too, that when you're going through this process, be patient. Sometimes when you're setting up these new accounts, you're like, well, I just want to use my own email. It's faster. I can verify it quicker, or I can do this quicker. Sometimes doing it the quicker way begins this commingling process that jacks up the whole situation. Because think down the road here. You're going to be using TaxBit, let's say, to do the accounting for your personal wallet. And if you've got transactions in that same ledger or chain or wallet that are really your IRA LLC's transactions, I don't even know if you can dissect it. I mean, that's truly almost a prohibited transaction. You're going to have some problems. So you've got to make sure. Yeah, you will screw this up.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to ask kindly, because I'm sure I'm getting pings here from our listeners. Can you quit saying KYC? It's messing with me. I've never heard of KYC except in an inappropriate manner. So you may not read fortune cookies on a regular basis, but I've never heard that term. Know your customer. That's a new thing.
Know your customer. Well, that's all the stuff while everybody's setting up their crypto accounts at Coinbase or Kraken, while they're like, what's your address? Yeah. I need a government issued ID, and they're doing all this stuff.
I just don't appreciate it. That's all I'm saying.
That's banking laws. It's called KYC. All right. All right. Well, I want to hit a really important point though.
Okay.
There's a lot of controversy in this topic right now with IRA LLCs and hardware type wallets. Okay. I'm not going to be on an exchange. I don't want a custodial, account. I want to hold my private keys for my crypto. Is that okay with a retirement account? Now there's a case out there about precious metals called McNulty.
Has nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. It's about gold.
Yeah.
There's a special section in the tax code about gold and IRAs and how you need to store it, and that it needs to be stored with a custodian. It's about gold.
Yeah. And you might see some YouTube videos out there of, I don't want to use slanderous terms, of people that like to somehow get views on their YouTube by saying, well, we can learn from this case. No, you can't.
Yeah. If it's about precious metals.
Yeah.
The court relied on a section of the tax code on retirement accounts about precious metals. Period.
That's it. Yep. All right. So can we hold our keys? I think this is where the Oregon Trail comes in.
Yeah, exactly. The Oregon Trail. Probably. Okay. Now, the answer there has nothing to do with that McNulty case. Okay. The McNulty case is about precious metals and the tax code on precious metals. But why do we say probably? Because there's nothing in the tax code about crypto that says you can either. But there's nothing that says you can't. So that's why we lean to probably. You can own crypto. And if you think about it too, when you think about your crypto, just because you own the private keys doesn't mean you are holding the crypto. The crypto is still on a blockchain. You just own the private keys that enable the crypto. You think of it like the login to your brokerage account. I mean, crypto is still, it's not like gold in your hand, right?
Yeah. The way I like
to get into the gold.
Yeah, yeah. And the example I'd say is, can you store gold in your IRA in your house? No. Can you hold the key to the safe deposit box down at the bank that holds your gold? Yes. It's a key. The key is not the gold, and the key is not the crypto. It's just the key to the crypto. And so I think you're going to be fine. Now, the Oregon Trail reference is when the IRS says you can't do something, or they don't tell you you can do something, you're a pioneer, and you're on the trail. And you're not, no one's going to, there could be Indians around the corner.
And you know what?
It could be the winter's coming.
Some people made it to the promised land, and man, did they do great. Some people didn't make it along the trail. Yep.
We can't guarantee you're going to make it there and not be Donner pottery. You might, it could be ugly. So we want to make sure that you're not in a snow cave, somewhere, but we can't guarantee it. So if someone's promising you that you can't do it or can do it or can't do it, until the IRS gives guidance on this, don't listen to them. Don't worry about McNulty. You don't hold the crypto. You've got the key. That's our best guess. Now, don't go to the tax court, and it will help you with a cup of coffee. You'll be about as all it'll be worth. Is this podcast saying, well, Mark and Matt said that, the key is like a safe deposit box or whatever. No, this is our general opinion right now. If you want to call our office, get a hard opinion on certain things, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. This is an area where no one knows, but we're giving you our best guess. So be a pioneer if you want, or stay in New York and don't get your wagon up. Just stay there. Don't.
Right. Yeah. And just stay on the custodial wallet. Like you can use our Gemini crypto product. It's frankly cheaper and easier. But a lot of people we know want to go off exchange. They want to hold the keys to their crypto. They want to have the private keys. And we understand that. I get the reason why. I don't need to be convinced. We just want to say, you can do it. Just know there's a little risk in doing it. And what I like to tell clients, it's like, I feel like a client asking me if they can drive 74 in a 65. And they want to know, am I going to get pulled over? I don't know. Okay. I mean, they don't usually pull people over going 74 in a 65. Sometimes there's a sheriff there that likes to pull you over.
Yeah, I'll tell you, where they do it is Oregon. That's ironic. Oregon. I lived in Oregon. They are sticklers. I mean, try I-5 and going from Portland to Eugene for, you're going to go to an Oregon game, Ducks game. Man, the slowest drivers in the country in Oregon. But I'll tell you why. It's because those cops out there, man, they're white on rice. It drives me nuts.
That's probably the best piece. That's probably the best tip in this entire podcast right there. I-5 to Portland to Eugene. Make sure you drive the speed limit, guys.
There you go.
That's similar to what tax, agent do you get at the IRS? What tax court judge do you get? So this is kind of in the unsettled area. So just know that you have a little bit of risk doing it. We think it's probably okay, but that's about all you're going to get. It's probably okay until there's some more cases on it. And there will be, there will be, if you're like, hey, I want to make sure, 1,000 people make it down the Oregon Trail before I go. Okay. Then you're going to wait.
Yeah. Yep.
Those first 1,000 people got all the great property.
Yep. All right. Now we've beaten this metaphor to death. So this is altcoins and you want to do DeFi. You may hold the keys. We've been helping clients with
DeFi, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about staking though.
Okay. All right. You choose where are we going next?
Okay. All right. I don't know if you're wrapping up there. Like I want to talk about.
No, I was just wrapping up that concept of altcoins. Okay. Now we're to staking.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's talk about staking.
You got a slide for that?
No. You might have one though, but I mean, it's the same slide. It's the same structure.
Oh, so, okay. All right.
Yeah. You just use the same IRA LLC structure. But now let's say and for staking, what we're talking about here is we're talking about custodial staking, like what we would call custodial staking. We're going to talk about this more at the Crypto Tax Summit, even at the Self-Directed IRA Summit. We're going to get into more of these topics, but I just want to give a preview here.
Okay.
So
Matt's choosing staking, the safe route here. Safe route.
Yeah, I'm choosing the easy one.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you have your IRA LLC here. You decide to go to BlockFi, let's say, and you stake your crypto there. You're getting yield back. That's cool. There's no UBIT on that. You're doing custodial staking. It's through a custodian. Pretty easy. Same with Celsius or places like that. Or even like if you're doing like Gemini Earn or Coinbase Lend or any of these other yield products, so to speak, where you're effectively lending or you're staking in many ways. We're not worried about UBIT there, and you're going to need the LLC because you're not going to be able to do that typically right out of a crypto IRA. You're going to need the LLC to enable that.
Okay. And I would like to add this. Now, everybody, some of you are like, I know, many of you listening, I know it. You've got a unique way of doing staking. Well, I'm running the node, or I'm delegating this, or I'm doing it through this way or that way, and you're like, is that okay in an IRA LLC? So from a broad perspective again, and here's the spoiler alert, at our Crypto Tax Summit in just a couple months, 8 weeks almost away, whatever it is, in May, we will be having a breakout session at least 2 to 3 times over the 2 days in Miami, breaking down every type of staking and how you deal with it. So don't stress, it'll be there. And there's new rules and laws and notices and cases coming down almost every week, if not, every month, if not week. So that's why we're doing this tax summit 3 times a year. Now, With that said, there's a passive investment type way of doing staking where you're using a custodial account to do it, which many of you hate. You don't want to use, BlockFi Earn or Coinbase this or whatever, Gemini Earn, whatever. There are all sorts out there, right? But for those of you that want to be a pioneer again and say, well, I'm going to do my own node, I'm going to delegate and all that, it's a different type of structure. We're not going there today. You can do it in your IRA, but there's some operational tax called UBIT that we would bring up and talk in detail at the summit. But that's a different animal. Would you say, Matt? Is that okay? Is that how much you want to dive into that?
Yeah, and that's a little more complex topic we'll get to later. And the crypto tax summit is the right place to get it. We may even touch on it, the self-directed IRA summit a little bit. But the bottom line I just want to say is you can do altcoins. You can have a hardware wallet. You can do the custodial staking. Now, there's some other stuff that's like, can you do it? Is there UBIT tax, like Mark's talking about, other versions of staking? Also, crypto mining. We have other podcasts on that about how to do mining. And that does cause UBIT. We got tax strategies for it. So, but here for right now with altcoins, DeFi staking, we got a solution for it. Use the IRA LLC and just know there's a little bit of risk on the hardware wallet topic.
I love
and
it.
having that personal possession of the private keys.
Okay, and I just asked Corey to drop the screen. I think we're good. That's a great slide. And I think what's exciting here is for many of you that are in the crypto space, we want you to have an alternative to invest your IRA in what you know. Some of you may have had a job with a 401k. There was some matching. You've left that job. And you've got this 401k just floundering, maybe at the same broker dealer you were at with the job, or it's rolled out into an IRA. You don't even know what's in it. Take this weekend. Take control of it. Get that account or the funds moved over to a new self-directed IRA where you can start doing all of these other crypto strategies that you know best. You know you can get it better than a 6 or 8% return. You know this stuff. So
yeah.
Take control of your retirement account, and that's the message of today. It doesn't have to be just in a normal custodial platform. You can get into the DeFi, the staking, the altcoins really quite easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think the gateway, of course, as we talked about in the structure, is the institutional account. That's probably where you see the most pain point from people is getting that institutional account just to convert that fiat over to some crypto, to then get into, Ethereum, to get you over somewhere else to exchange, or even just to go off the exchange on a hardware wallet. So we have some contacts though with some of the exchanges for the institutional accounts. Again, like Mark said, you do got to walk through the process. They treat you like you're a hedge fund. Okay. So they think that the person entering this account app is like the legal department at a big hedge fund in New York, even though you're just this LLC with your own little IRA. So it's not like the nice fintechy account setup that you do on your smartphone to set up your Coinbase account. All right.
3 subway stops, you're done.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening.
Yeah. It's a little different, but it can get done. All right. Just get through the process. And like I said, there's some contacts we have if needed, where they know what the heck an IRA LLC is. Now you can also do this with Solo K. That's the other thing I want to point out. If for those of you that are self-employed and know the Solo K product, we have prior podcasts on that. You can do it right out of the Solo K. So rather than having an LLC where you have a bank account, your Solo K is going to have a bank account. And then you use that bank account to connect to a crypto exchange that the Solo K owns. And then you go through the same process we talked about with the IRA LLC. You're just using a Solo K. Now, the Solo K doesn't work for everyone because not everyone's self-employed with no employees and qualifies for a Solo K. But for those of you that are, it's a great strategy. You can skip the LLC. Just go right out of the Solo K, because in the Solo Ks, you can have a checking account, a trust checking account right in the Solo K's name, which gets you that fiat over to your initial crypto.
Okay, well, let's answer, but I want to give you a preview, folks, on a couple other topics we're going to be covering, but let's just talk cost and timeline. You're typically looking, if it's just an IRA or a 401k, so it's a one account LLC setup, you're about $800 with
State filing fee.
With a filing fee and maybe a registered agent fee. So you might be out a couple $100 or $200 to $300, depending on what state you're in. And you'll get a conversation with a real lawyer. So you're going to talk to one of our lawyers that'll help answer any quick questions you might have, make sure it's tailored to your situation. Some of you may be frustrated. You're like, well, I just want to set up my LLC online. You really can't. These LLCs have to have specific provisions that you're not going to find in a LegalZoom LLC. Now, LegalZoom's great. They got great LLCs. I'm not, lambasting them by any means. But when you want to tackle IRAs with ERISA rules, Department of Labor rules, IRS rules, you've got to make sure those LLCs have the right provisions. So ours are already pre-approved at the law firm with directed IRA. Turnaround time, Matt, what do you like to say about, say I want to start this tomorrow? What should people expect timeline-wise?
I would say about 2 to 3 weeks, because you also need the IRA account, right? So you've got to open up the self-directed IRA account, move the money from Fidelity, and then get the LLC going, which we like to just get going at the same time. Get the self-directed IRA account going, get the money moving over from your existing IRA or 401k over to your self-directed account at directed IRA, and get the LLC documents getting drafted and filed with the state at the same time.
And you can tell directed IRA that you need a consult with the lawyer, you need an LLC, and they'll help transfer you and get you expedited through the law firm. And I would say this, if you want to combine accounts, and this is very common, I would say we have almost 50-50, the equal number of this, because you're going to say, hey, I want to take my spouse's IRA, my IRA, or my kid's IRA and form an LLC so I have more capital to play with. That's going to be $1,500. There's more moving parts and plus filing fees. And Matt was shaking his head. Not as common. So maybe only 20 or 30% of our LLCs have multi-members, maybe?
Yeah, I would say 10% are multi-member.
Really?
Yeah, especially in crypto, because in the real estate space, it's more common because people are combining accounts to buy a specific thing that they need an X amount of dollars for.
Yeah.
But in the crypto, especially because it doesn't help you on it. I just don't see it a lot, because the one downside is you have a partnership tax return when you do multi-member. So if we pool multiple IRAs together, then you're going to have a partnership tax return. And a lot of clients don't like that. So there are some downsides to multi-member.
Yeah.
You got a partnership tax return. Also, the other thing you have is if we set up a multi-member LLC, and we have a prior podcast episodes on just the IRA LLC, multi-member IRA LLC. So if you're like, you guys are a little fast on this description, we got a lot of other podcasts on that. We're just trying to say how to use this structure for crypto in particular. But the multi-member LLC, your ownership's fixed. So if you started off 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 between your account, your spouse's account, your kid's account, well, you're stuck at 1/3, 1/3. More money you put in's got to go in 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Any money coming out is going to go under those same percentages when you set it up. And sometimes for some people, that's a little clunky.
I love it. Well, a few topics that we want to be covering in the near future, and I encourage you to please subscribe and make sure you're getting a ping whenever we record a podcast. We always put these podcasts on YouTube as well, because we're using slides and whiteboards at times. But we want to talk about using that IRA or 401k in the metaverse. You might be buying NFTs. You might be starting a meta venture. You might be or participating in a DAO. And a lot of times your IRA or 401k can be doing much of that. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. There's services involved. But we have clients with IRAs that are buying utility NFTs for buy and hold. Now, you cannot buy a collectible NFT. So anyway, we're going to have shows on NFTs, the metaverse. We want to talk more about mining and and I guess we should say some of the staking, where you're really being considered the operator or delegator. Whenever you're the operator or delegator of a staking scenario, it's okay. You just have to have a different structure when you're doing your IRA. So we've got our self-directed IRA summit, Matt. Final point. You should tell everybody about that. That's coming up in California here, in another month.
In Costa Mesa, April. It's sdrasummit.com, by the way, and it is April 21st and 22nd. Sorry, I just need the calendar. April 21st and 22nd in Costa Mesa, sdrasummit.com. We've already been selling quite a bit of tickets. So if you want to be live, make sure you get in there and get those tickets. We will sell it out for sure. And it's going to be virtual too. If you just want to stream it, we'll be streaming it virtual. So get over again to sdrasummit.com.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being with us today. Again, kind of a tight show, very specific, very targeted. And, thank you. We want to be your resource. Should I go back to that? Your portal, there's a word. It's like the fountain. The fountain.
I know. It's like
knowledge.
I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So
figure it out. But till then, stay calm and self-direct knowledge.
see you next week.